All right, it looks like people have joined us, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us. My name is Lisa Stern, and I'm one of the Member Services Directors here at ERB. I'm joined today by Kelly Bornman and Jason Lesnetsky, our other two Member Services Directors. They're here to help out, and certainly if you have any questions, they will be happy to help answer those as we go. Just a teeny bit of housekeeping for you as we get started. This session should be about 20 minutes total. It's just a brief introduction to WrAP in the WrIT library. We will answer questions at the end. If you have any questions, we won't be monitoring the chat feature. We will be monitoring the Q&A feature. So if you see that on your screen, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A area. And as we go, if it's something that Kelly and Jason can answer along the way, they definitely will do that. If not, we will answer for the whole group at the end. So again, any questions that you have, please feel free to put in the Q&A area. And just so you know, we are recording and we will share a recording of this webinar with you within the next 48 hours or so. So keep an eye out for that, and you're welcome to share it at your schools. Again, thank you so much for joining. And with that, we will get started. If you aren't familiar with ERB, we're a nonprofit educational insights organization. We've been serving schools around the world for over 90 years. We believe in the power of unlocking every student's full potential with access to quality education for all learners, regardless of their background or circumstances. Our core belief is that assessment data and learning tools should be used equitably, not as a gatekeeper, but as a gateway to learning and growth. We celebrate the value and dignity of all, from students and their families to our employees and member schools. We work diligently to create tools for learning that are research-based and recognize the uniqueness of each student. We believe that information about student learning facilitates progress over time and is a valuable tool for unlocking student potential because it helps identify strengths and areas for growth. With reliable data and valid interpretations, we can best support students' learning needs and aspirations. Our assessments and learning tools go beyond the traditional measures of academic performance to include an understanding of the student's sense of well-being and belonging, as well as the social and emotional tools they use to navigate their environment. Today, we will be focusing on WrAP, but please do feel free to reach out to your Member Services Director for information about any of our other programs. At ERB, we offer two different writing programs, WrAP, our focus for today, and ERB Writing. ERB Writing offers students practice writing throughout the year. It provides instant feedback and uses individualized tools and lessons to support classroom instruction. For more details about ERB Writing or a demonstration, please do feel free to reach out to your MSD. While we aren't going to cover that today, we are always happy to share information about that program with you. For today, WrAP is what we'll be discussing, and that is our writing assessment program. It measures student achievement and allows teachers to pinpoint their students' strengths and weaknesses. It's supported by the WrIT library, which is already included with your annual membership. WrAP was developed in collaboration with our member schools and writing experts, and it's administered across 5 grade level bands with higher performance expected at each level. There's the elementary band, which covers grades 3 through 4, the intermediate band, which covers grades 5 through 6, the middle band for grades 7 through 8, secondary band for grades 9 through 10, and the college preparatory band for grades 11 and 12. Since WrAP is a hand-scored assessment, we have 3 seasons available for scoring. For this year, those dates are going to be for all materials that we receive by November 18th. We will report your scores to you by December 9th. For all materials we receive by March 17th, we will report those scores to you by April 7th. And for all materials received by June 2nd, we will report those scores to you by June 23rd. WrAP covers 3 different genres, the narrative, informative, and argument opinion genres, as well as offers 2 different prompt types, the stimulus and non-stimulus prompts. The rubrics that are used to assess WrAP are 6.6 trait rubrics for scoring for each individual genre. Students receive a score for each trait as well as an overall score, allowing the teacher to easily understand strengths and weaknesses and target areas for improvement. Once scored, you have access to a variety of actionable reports, including individual student reports, criterion and norm reference data, links to annotated samples, roster reports, and class summary reports. So this is an example of an individual student report from WrAP. When you look at this, you can see that students receive a score for each trait as well as an overall score. You're also able to see how your total score compares to both an independent and suburban norm. On the second page of the individual score report, you're able to see the rubric used to assess the writing to help you understand the skills a student should work on to improve their writing and score. You're also able to click on a link to see a sample essay that's scored at the particular score you're curious about for the selected traits. With your student's essay in hand, you can use the sample essay at the same score or an essay at a higher score to help students see what improvement looks like when you look at two essays side by side. This allows them to see clearly models of how they can improve their writing as a result, and then as a result, improve their score as well. There are also annotations provided with each sample essay. Those annotations give you great language for a conversation on writing and what the target goal or next step for the student might be. You can target any trait or several traits while looking at this. In this case, we would target organization, as the student's essay could have benefited from that focus. And you can see examples of language that you might use in a conversation with a student about their writing here and how that might be helpful as you work with students with the reporting that you get back from WrAP. Before and after completing WrAP, you're able to use the WRITE library to find tools for writing instruction that are aligned to the assessment. These tools can also easily be integrated into the instruction already happening in your classroom. As an ERB member, you already have access to this library, so please feel free to log in and look through the available resources I'm about to show you. You can access the WRITE library by visiting wriit.erblearn.org. Again, it's included with your membership, so please do feel free to log into this site and check it out. The same login you use for everything else will work, and you'll find it to be incredibly helpful. WRITE has many resources to enhance WrAP as well as classroom instruction, including rubrics, sample prompts, learning progressions, graphic organizers, lessons by trait and prompt, anchor charts, and anchor sets. This is just an example of one of the learning progressions that shows what a student would need to work on to progress from one level to the next. I'm sure you can imagine how, combined with the individual student report I showed you, this really gives context for how you move from one score to the next score and things to work on as you're working through improving your writing during the school year or the next school year. Also, an example of the beginning of a lesson that we provide. In this case, this is an example of a lesson on how to approach a prompt and what to do once you're given a prompt and how to begin writing. So we provide a number of lessons in all different areas, both by trait and by learning how to write with prompts. Finally, this is just a few of the ways that you can use the resources in the WRITE library in conjunction with WrAP. For example, there are sample WrAP prompts for each genre in the library, and you can practice writing essays and scoring them using the provided WrAP rubrics before completing the WrAP assessment. After completing WrAP, you can use the individual score report we just looked at in conjunction with the learning progressions we also saw in the WRITE library to set goals for improvement. And with that said, thank you so much for joining us today to get some information on WrAP. If you have any questions at all about getting started with WrAP or any of our other programs, please feel free to reach out to your member services director. Jason, Kelly, and I are always happy to help with anything that we can. So with that being said, I'm going to hop in and see if there were any questions. And I see a question. Thank you, Mary, so much for putting that in here. You asked, where do you find the annotations for the rubric? When you look at the annotations, when you look at the rubric in the individual student report, you will see that beneath the description of what the scorer was looking for in the rubric is a button that says sample. And when you click on that button that says sample, again, this is in the individual student report, that sample brings up a sample. And then beneath that sample, when you scroll down, the annotations will be beneath the sample essay that you opened up by clicking on that sample button. Any other questions at all that I can help with? All right, well, it looks like we've answered all the questions that people had. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. And if there's anything at all that we can help with, please feel free to reach out to Jason and Kelly and I, and we look forward to talking with you. Thanks so much.